The pineal gland is possibly the most important organ of your body because it regulates all other glands and hormones. Your pineal gland is a tiny cone-shaped gland that's only about 0.8 centimeters long. In adults, it weighs about 0.1 grams. It sits right in the center of your brain. Young people, like teenagers, have a much larger pineal gland as adults have. This is due to the fact that their pineal gland is still in order and not yet calcified. With age, the pineal gland calcifies and gets smaller over time. This is comparable to your arteries and blood vessels. They get calcified too over time. And here comes another surprising fact. According to Dr. Edinger, a pioneer in melatonin and the surrounding science, says the pineal gland is the one organ in your body that is being flooded with blood the most. It is not the heart or the lungs, but your pineal gland. This says quite a lot about how important this little organ is. That's not all. There are various reports about pineal plant transplantations in mice. Researchers have taken out the pineal gland of an old mouse and implanted it into the brain of a young mouse, and the one of a young mouse were implanted into the brain of an old mouse. The results were astonishing. The old mouse with the young pineal gland lived about 30% longer as its usual lifespan would have been, and the young mouse with the old pineal gland died much earlier as it usually would have died. This claims can be backed up by scientific papers, experiments published in PubMed. The mouse with the younger pineal gland has a much better lifespan compared with the mouse with the old pineal gland regardless of the mouse's real age, and it did not matter the cause of death.
Normally the pineal gland controls the entire brain. There are studies made by Pierre Pauli. He planted the pineal gland of an old mouse into a young mouse and the pineal gland of a young mouse into an old mouse. The result was, usually the average mouse has a lifespan of 700 days. So the young mouse with the old pineal gland died already after 500 days and the old mouse with the young pineal gland lived over 1000 days. If we calculate this with a special computer program, based on what we know what is happening when 300 milligrams melatonin is given daily, then we can assume that a person who usually would die at 75 years old could gain another 35 years in lifespan, only by making his pineal gland function again.
This shows us the following. When hormones get out of whack and cannot be regulated by a pineal gland that works properly, then we are up for disaster. This is the power of hormones. But there is another factor next to the hormones. We know as a fact that a calcified pineal gland cannot do its job. There are millions of cells to be discarded and replaced by new cells each second, and the proper tact for this is also done by the pineal gland. Meaning, with a calcified pineal gland, we run into two problems. Hormones get out of whack, and no proper tact for discharging your old cells. The discharge of old cells is called autophagy, and plays a vital role in the way how you age. We have to clean out our old cells in order to replace them with new cells. Or, as an old saying goes, you can only fill a basket with water as much as you have emptied the basket before. So, how to reverse the problem of calcification of your pineal gland? We know for a fact that fluorides in your drinking water as well as in your toothpaste plays a role in the calcification of your pineal gland. It might not be the only reason, but it contributes to it. And fluorides come along with a lower IQ. It is exactly the discussion we have at the moment. What Robert Kennedy Jr. argues, this toxic fluoride must get out of our toothpaste and the drinking water. His opponent Big Pharma does not like that. They argue that we need fluorides in our toothpaste in order that our teeth stay strong and hard. Well, if they ever had looked into the mouth of any indigenous tribe people, they would have realized that they have much stronger teeth as we have, and they did not use any toothpaste with fluorides. So if you can, use toothpaste that has no fluorides for yourself and your family. It is not much more expensive, but worth each penny of it. This is a first step into the right direction. You will get a healthier pineal gland in a sense that the calcification does not get too much worse. Dr. Edinger reports about a way that removes the calcium from your pineal gland, and that is high doses of melatonin. Starting from day 1, when using high doses of melatonin 300 milligrams, you will start to activate the pineal gland overnight. This activation can be achieved over 5 to 7 hours while you sleep, but only when taken in high doses of melatonin correctly. There must be a slow and constant release of melatonin through either patches, suppositories, cream or buccal application. Swallowing melatonin will not do the trick because you will get a peak, and after 1 hour, the melatonin is gone. There is no constant release possible. We wish it were.
What you're after with melatonin is a more sustained effect. Yeah, when you take it orally, most of the effect is like within half an hour or an hour, and you get a high peak and a good effect, but then it kind of goes down.
Dr. Edinger continues to say that within about 2 years of daily usage, your pineal gland can be decalcified. Going back to our mouse model earlier, this could possibly reflect in a 30% longer lifespan for humans too, regardless of the cause of death. 30% longer lifespan, that is a very long time. No other organ can give you this luxury. You can fix any other organ in your body, and you will not have an extended lifespan in the way a properly functioning pineal gland can do it.
Today we are talking about the pineal gland. Enrico, can you tell us what has been scientifically proven about this gland? Maybe just in a few sentences.
The purpose of the pineal gland I cannot describe in a few sentences. It is so gigantic. Let us start here. The pineal gland is the one organ that is second most flooded with blood. It has the size of a pea because it has become smaller over time. For example, an 8-year-old's pineal gland measures 10 times the size of ours. We have poisoned it over time through many things coming from outside. Its location is right in the center of your brain, thus it could influence anything we hear and we see. I say could, because its functions have been diminished. It can influence all hormones. It is the chief of all hormone glands in your body. It is responsible for your short-term memory as well as your long-term memory. It is very much responsible for thinking as such and the distribution of your thoughts and even for telepathy, which was a very important thing in ancient times. Possibly the pineal gland was also much larger than as it is today. Within nanoseconds it gives impulses through your brain waters and through retrospinal channels along your spine, thus it influences your entire microbiome.
Thanks for watching. If you liked it, subscribe to the channel. More interesting topics to come.